dudes who are short, bowling, ugly, tiny dicks pulling supermodels. Like, you can find them if you want to find them. There are endless examples of this in the real world. This is not fantasy land. And we're not even talking like celebrities. We're just talking guys who've done well in life. Guys who've put in the effort to level up. And obviously this guy's like, okay, at 23, you're very unlikely to be able to pull a supermodel. Okay, because who are supermodels dating? Supermodels are dating like really top tier dudes with like status and money, etc. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, then where your goal is at least. So you've identified where you want to be. That's a good first step. Yeah. The second step is removing this limiting belief and this frame of reference on the world that you currently have, which is not helping you in any way, shape, or form. This idea that you're limited your genetics, that you have no way to change this at all. Complete lie.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at some stats here, because I kind of dug these up. Countries with the largest erect penis length around the world. This is 10, 1, 2. This looks like the top 10. So Ecuador, which is in Latin America. Apparently, if you're from Ecuador, your average length is just under 7 inches, 6.93. All the way down to some of the African countries. Netherlands is up at the top. There's a lot of tall guys in the Netherlands. Dutch men and women are very tall, in fact. So there is a correlation between height. And then the smallest erect penis lengths down to 3.95. So this guy's saying he's 4.7. So move to Cambodia would be a good recommendation, because you're actually bigger than most guys in Cambodia, because the average length there is 3.9 erect. Burma, Taiwan, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Hong Kong, Bangladesh, Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia, which goes to 4.52. So he's saying he's 4.7. So in any one of these countries, he's packing a hog compared to the local population.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, it looks like he's in Central Latin, and Ecuador is the 6.93 capital of the world. So if he lives in Ecuador, he's going to have a tough time, obviously. So there's some geolocation stuff that you can do. Yeah. This is country population, and there's a chart you can download, which I'm not going to get into. Is there any more here? International penis sizes compared. Where does this take you? Average size by country worldwide. Again, so they put Ecuador, Cameroon, Bolivia up near the top, and all the way down on the bottom is Cambodia, Burma, Taiwan. There's a correlation apparently based on height. So they're saying in some countries, as a percentage of your height, it can be as much as 10% of your height, your tool. Whereas in some of the countries where you've got less genetically gifts, you're at 6% of your height. So, and that seems to be pretty consistent in the smaller countries along with the larger ones too. So that's interesting. So solutions to this, Sterling, adult film star extraordinaire, has a notch count of over 100. How many shots?
I have a notch count significantly higher than that, Rich.
500, 1,000. What is it?
It's over 500.
Over 500. So, coming from a guy that basically makes his living going to Pound Town, what is your recommendation for guys dealing with a smaller Johnson? I mean, I want you to go first because you're the expert here.
Cool. All right. So there's a couple of things here, right? I want to touch on 3 points. First one is his mental frame of reference here is like that this is not a problem I can solve, therefore I'm doomed forever. I'm here to tell you right now, this is something you can actually change. You can physically change the length and the girth of your penis. Okay, so relax. You're not doomed. If you don't believe me, I have proof of it on the internet. You can go to stirlingcooper.com/proof. It's not safe for work, so don't do it in a library. Don't do it, in the room. stirlingcooper.com/proof.
/proof. Okay, so you guys can go look at that later. I'm not going to put it up on the screen.
I'll not put it up on the screen. Don't link to it in the chat or anything. Yeah. But that's my proof pics of my before and my afters, so you guys can actually see that this has been done. What is the
difference in size that you managed to grow your tool by?
So it took me 8 months to grow. I think it was 1.2 inches in length over the course of 8 months.
Okay,
in length, and it was about a third of an inch in circumference addition on the girth.
Okay. And what was your starting point in length?
About 5.9.
Okay, so 5.9, you added about 1.2 inches?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty significant.
Exactly, right. And that's like, I got into adult entertainment under average for like, a white Caucasian dude.
Was that something that you were like self-conscious about? You're like, I really want to do adult films, but I feel like, I need a bigger tool for camera.
Yeah, basically that was it. Like, so I was already good in bed. Like I was, and this is the thing. This is the second thing I wanted to touch on with this guy is like, okay, like, but I'll answer your question first. So I knew I was already good in bed. I knew I could, keep it going, so to speak. So I knew I could do the job on camera. Then I got my first gig or two, and I was like, I saw the photos, and I was like, damn, I'm not as long as I should be because it's a bit hard to see this stuff on camera. So I'm like, that gave me like the impetus to like put the effort in consistently every day for 8 months until I got to a point where it was far more visually appealing on camera, and it made my job a little easier. So it's easier to like open up and stuff. So there was a lot of pressure. Like, it was good pressure. It's what we call eustress, not de-stress, but eustress, where it's like a positive, stressful influence on your life to force you to do, the work that needs to be done. But so if you're a guy who has a small appendage, first of all, you can do something about it. Second of all, it takes time. It takes consistent effort, but it is worth it. Putting in the effort and the time, because especially if you are currently associating, your sense of confidence, especially your sense of confidence in the bedroom around like the size of your appendage, when you increase it, naturally that confidence is going to skyrocket because you're a totally different man, right? He also touched on things like premature ejaculation. So I'll once I get through these couple of points, I'm going to start giving this guy some tips on growing stuff and then on the premature ejaculation stuff, because that's also very important. But the third thing I want to talk about is sex is a learnable skill, right? Being good in bed is a skill. It is something that requires experience and know-how. Like guys who have, low notch counts or, haven't had that much sex in their life, they don't have the prerequisite experience that someone like me has, for example, who knows all the different buttons to push on a woman, who's had lots of reference experience, who's seen patterns again and again in terms of what turns women on, what doesn't turn women on, what compliant body language looks like in the bedroom, what non-compliant body language looks like in the bedroom. So I know I can do certain things to a woman if she does this, if she does X, if she does Y. I know what to do and where to do it. So that is also something that he can learn, which puts him far above the competition, because he's sort of going in his mind. He's like, oh, just because I have a tiny dick, no woman will ever find me compelling in the bedroom. And it's a complete lie. I can guarantee you out there somewhere, there is an MMA fighter with a tiny appendage who is absolutely rocking his wife's world every night in the bedroom, because he can go, like, he can throw around and do a whole bunch of really dominant things in the bedroom to her. And when you're a guy who knows how to do that, it separates you from the pack. So he's worrying about girls like not wanting to have one-night stands with him and not being able to keep them in rotation. And he's worried about not being able to spin plates and being taken advantage of, financially in long-term relationships. Well, when you can do stuff that no other guy can, then bam, like spinning plates is easy. It's like a rotating door. They just come in and out. It's not a problem.